Hey, what's going on? My name is Eric, and in today's video, we're doing a review of Incfile. Now, if you're looking into this service, you're probably looking to set up a business entity for yourself because maybe you've just started a business or you got an idea, or perhaps you're looking to change your business structure. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a review of Incfile, explaining like how do they charge $0 to use their service, what's the back end cost. We're also going to be talking about how to make sure that you keep your business protected. We're going to be talking about a term called piercing the corporate veil. If you've never heard of that before, you definitely want to watch this video. And then also what we're going to be talking about is how to save taxes and what to consider with that if you're setting up your business entity. So to get things started, if you are a little bit unsure of what entity you want to set up with, if you go up here and you review entity types, know that about 80% of small businesses are LLCs. So most people are setting up a limited liability company. One of the misconceptions though with a limited liability company is that somehow this is going to change your taxes or affect your taxes. It does not do that. The purpose of an LLC is that it is there to protect you and your liabilities. If you are sued or something happens within your business, it draws a line between your personal assets and the assets of the business so that when somebody sues your business, they can't take your house. So moving to the next one, an S corporation, really that's what I ended up setting up for my business. I was originally a sole proprietor, registered as a DBA, doing business as. I ended up going to an S corporation to save on taxes, and I'll explain that in a minute as well. A C corporation, that's a rather large business. If you do have a large business, you may want to consult with a business attorney before you're looking at entity types. That's just my opinion. And then a nonprofit corporation. If you still have questions after looking at reviewing these entity types, there is a nice tool here that's a business type quiz that is going to go into the differences between these businesses. It's going to ask you some questions and it's going to let you know which one it thinks is a good fit for you. Now you're probably curious about the taxes that I mentioned with an S corporation. So for my business, I do marketing consulting. I also have YouTube channels where I do reviews such as these, where I can actually make a commission based on doing reviews and people using my link in the description below. Nice plug there that I do have a link in the description below for this video. But what you're interested in right now is how to save on taxes. So if you go back to Learning Center and you go to S-Corp Tax Calculator, this is a pretty cool tool that they have. And I'll go down to the bottom here. Now, let's say for your business it's already established or you think that you're going to have a really good year. If you're just starting out, really, you probably want to set up as an LLC because it's a little bit easier. It's a little more simple to get started. But let's say that you already have an established business and you net about $50,000 yearly income. Now, if you were a sole proprietor, you're going to take that $50,000 and you're going to get drilled on taxes with that. Now, if you're an S Corp, what you're going to do is you're going to get drilled on taxes on some of it, but you're going to be taxed substantially less on another portion of it. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to set up yourself as an employee of the business, and what you're going to do is actually be on payroll. Now, what you can see here is $25,000 of it is you're on payroll, but you still netted 50. So you're like, well, what about that other $25,000? You can take that in what's called a distribution or a draw. But more importantly, what you can see here is that by doing an S Corp, you would save $3,825 by being set up as an S Corp as opposed to a sole proprietor. And again, people get confused because they think that an LLC is somehow going to help them with their taxes. It has nothing to do with taxes whatsoever. It's all about limiting your liability. So basically what happens in an S Corp is the amount that you take on payroll, you are paying that full 15.3%, but the remaining amount of your net profit that you're taking as a distribution or draw, you're taking like half that. So when you are a W-2 employee, so you're an employee of a business, you see those FICA, Medicare, Social Security tax come out. Well, you're paying part of that and the business is paying part of that as well. When you become a sole proprietor, you're paying all of that, which is a 15.3% tax, which is substantial. But when you get set up as an S Corp, what happens is out of this $50,000, this $25,000 that's your payroll, that'll get taxed to 15.3%. The remaining $25,000 in this case, you can take as a distribution or a draw from the company. So on that distribution, you will only need to pay federal income tax on it. So it's pretty cool in that you can save taxes by getting set up with an S Corp, which is also pretty affordable to do through Incfile as well. So the last two things I want to talk about is the pricing and how Incfile is charging $0, and then also what is a registered agent and how does that apply to piercing the corporate veil, which I mentioned earlier. So if you form your LLC here, it's going to ask you, it's already putting LLC as the entity type, and then you put in your state. In my particular case, I am in New York. And it's going to pop open your pricing. And you'll notice the package fee is $0 starting with silver. State fee is $205 for an LLC. You can't get around that. That's what the state charges. They're just passing that cost on to you. Interestingly, if you go to Nevada, I believe they're pretty expensive, especially when you get into like an S corporation. You see they're $725. I set up in New York, and you can see it's substantially cheaper that way. So it's kind of interesting how every state can charge their own fees. But one of the things you want to do is make sure you set it up in your own state. Don't get cute. Some people say like set it up in Delaware or Wyoming, Nevada. Unless you have a really complex business, you need a business attorney to really get into that. You want to set up in your state. So one of the things too that I want to talk about here is you have a free registered agent service for a year on any one of these plans. So when you're reading this, basically you get everything that's included in this plus this. And when you're looking at what's included here in the platinum plan, you're getting everything across the board. So it's pretty cool because if you do go to their most popular gold plan, you are getting things as well as a business banking account, which is set up through Bank of America, I believe, and you're getting a business tax consultation as well. So getting back to a free registered agent service for a year. If you want to go to manage your company and registered agent service, this will give you a little bit more information. But basically what a registered agent does is they're helping you keep records, reports, and making sure that you are updating your entity as needed. Kind of like if you have a car in most states, you have to register the car with the state. And then if you fail to re-register when your registration is up, you can get pulled over and get a ticket. Well, in the case of having a business entity, if you set up an LLC because you're trying to limit your liability and you want to be an official entity, but if you forget to do those steps and like re-register with your state, in my particular case for an S-Corp, I believe it's every 2 years with New York. If I don't do that, the business entity is not official because I'm not actually acting like a business. I'm not re-registering with the state. I'm not doing my annual reports. I'm not doing my minutes. A registered agent such as the one that Incfile offers is going to help you do those things and make sure that your business is compliant and actually a legit business. Now, this is where you'll find how is Incfile actually making money. Well, that first year, that $119 fee for a registered agent is free, but then after that, you will pay $119. It's up to you if you want to continue that service with them, but I would recommend it, and I'll explain now. When it comes to piercing a corporate veil, that's just like lawyer jargon for basically saying, trying to prove that your business isn't legit. So if you set up an LLC and you're doing it again because you want to separate your personal assets from your business assets, so somebody sues you, they can't take your house. What that attorney on the person who's suing you is going to try to do is pierce the corporate veil or essentially say that your business isn't legit. And one of the ways they're going to do this is they're going to say, are you actually registered? Did you set up with the state again? Are you doing your annual reports? All of these things are going to vary state to state on what is required. But Incfile, if you have a registered agent through them, is going to do that for you to make sure that your business is legit every year going forward as well. So I think that's $119 well spent. The other thing that's cool about this too is that when you have a registered agent, all your personal information is kept hidden. So like myself, I work from home, I have a home office, so I'm putting my home address out there, and then suddenly you start getting all these mailers and information and solicitations trying to sell you things like business credit cards or loans and all this kind of stuff. If you have a registered agent through Incfile, they're going to handle all that for you and just make sure that you're getting the correct information and documents sent to you that you need. So it's a pretty cool service. Definitely recommend it as far as making sure your business is legit going forward in the future. And then lastly, I will mention again, I have a link in the description below for Incfile. It's an affiliate link, so I'll make a commission if you use my link. But if you're getting set up, it's still the same price to you, which is free for an LLC, which is pretty great. And I really appreciate it because that's how I support my business, my family, and the YouTube channel that I'm growing here. And then also, I'd like to mention I have a video on the screen that is QuickBooks versus FreshBooks, because if you're starting a business, you want to make sure your accounting is correct and accurate. You can watch that video and learn why I went with one service over the other. And I'll explain all that in that video. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next video.